They need to be evil somehow. How do you define that? I have no idea. Let's just paint them. I got a box of mixed, you know, old Nurgle marines. Some are painted metal, some are primed, and I think they're resin. I have no idea what they are, but I just bought them at some point and I just couldn't get rid of them. Well, I could get rid of them, but I didn't want to. For some reason, I just, you know, like them. So I patched them up, a set of 6 using 32mm bases, because they're usually, like most of them are on 25mm bases. And I thought I will just try to paint them inspired by the broken metal ones and kind of the box art of things. It should be fun and easy and, you know, not put a huge strain on my hobby flow. There was a bit of patching, some blade had fallen off, and I had to get the bases a bit, you know, uniform, but otherwise they're pretty much ready to go. Some old lines, but not too much. They were all plain black, then, you know, zenithal, including one color that is named Vanilla. I've never really got around to like it, because it's too strong to be a sort of warm tint, but still too weak to be a proper yellow for like a base coat. But I thought I'll try it again, because here at least it might not break anything. But it is still a bit too strong. I put white on top of it, and I think it was really nice actually. The last part of the preparation was an oil wash. The original plan was to let this be overnight and then use the shadows, you know, to be something to blend into, and then just paint it all with normal oils. But summer happened, and after more than a week I'm pretty certain that the oils have cured. I wonder how they will react now when I use oils on top. You know what? Screw that, change the plans. It seems to be common knowledge that you cannot dry brush with oil color. Is that really true? I've never seen anyone fail doing that. Perhaps I should be the first to fail. If I just, you know, it's just oils, I can just remove it. At this stage, I realized that I can never turn these guys into a proper legionaries team. They all have bolters. So, compendium to the rescue. It's still relevant if you make mistakes like I do, I suppose. Step 1 is getting the supplies. We obviously need the primed miniatures, and we also need the metal ones to compare to. There will be the measurement here, you know, like what does a regular Nurgle person look like? Hey, isn't this the same guy? Then we obviously need colors. I think I'll need the primaries together with black and white, which I suppose is the primaries. Perhaps a pure red as well, but I think we'll only start with the primaries and see where we land. I put them all down on a piece of cardboard to make them a bit more dry. I think that would be a good thing, right? Now we need to mix the colors. Mixing a green, to be specific. It should be the same kind of green as on the original miniatures. Kind of, at least. I can't be too picky, I only have like 3 hours to do this whole thing. I suppose I would get a green at some point. I pretty much use, you know, green in all my paint jobs. And I must admit that it would actually be a reasonable investment. But it seems to be a rather 50-50 mix here, and I think that will do. Then I also need my dry brushing rock. It's not really a real rock, it's a broken tile from a ruined house. Let's say it's a haunted house as well, you know, it makes for a better story. Haunted or not, it's very useful. I use it to, you know, do like Artis Opus does, you know, take some color and just rub it on there, see that you're on the sort of right amount. We will also need some brushes. And ironically, I've gotten my wet palette out of the drawer as I've started to dry brush more. Let's get 2 small ones, as they're mainly, you know, small places to paint. I have no idea if this will kill them, but, you know, in the name of pseudoscience, some sacrifices has to be made. Now I'm all set. All I need to do now is put in some kids to bed and we're ready to roll. Another nice feature of the oils, it is rarely stressful. Okay, kids to bed, we're ready for the first pass. I do the normal thing. I add some colors, wipe off the excess, and then dry brush as normal, using circles and, you know, all that sort of good stuff. And it works. It works incredibly well. On camera it might look like, you know, like I'm painting more than dry brushing, but yeah, it really works. None of the colors dry up, none of the colors get chalky, it just plain works. Wait a minute. Wasn't I supposed to, you know, not try something new? Well, if it works, it works. Let's move on. You might have noted that I did metallics prior to oil wash. Perhaps I should have said it earlier in the video or something, but you know, whatever. Now I have covered pretty much all of it in my green color. And before I move on with the rest of the team, I just want to be sure nothing gets weird when I try to remove it. So I use a Q-tip, dip it in white spirits and rub it off. Nope, works fine. Perhaps there's a tint of green in there, in the recesses, but hey, that's just a bonus, I think. And none of that sort of black shading I did earlier, none of that has diluted and gone into the paint as well. It's just stayed there rock solid. That's really nice. Second pass. I tried to dry brush yellow over the green. Obviously it does not work as it does with acrylics, as the previous paint is not even close to cured. Instead it blends. It blends fast and smooth. Just like the end result in regular dry brushing, except that this is all done in one pass. Here it might be argued that I'm not really dry brushing. I do exactly the same gestures with the same kind of brush, but the result is not really exactly the same. Regular dry brushing is, in terms of, you know, the British expertise, putting things on top of other things. This is a blend. What do you think? Right now I don't really care, but put it in the comments. I only got, you know, approximately 1.5 hours to finish the whole team now, so, you know, dry brushing or not, this works. I do the same thing for the rest of the team and all the other colors needed. The brush is kind of hard to fully clean dry, so some of the green bleeds through all of the other colors. And this time it's mainly a feature as it makes a coherent miniature, but if you do want to try this, just beware of it. If that's not your thing, use another brush or something. When all that is large enough to be dry brushed is done, I get some regular brushes out and paint this, you know, regular paint job, the rest of the guys. Like mixing up a skin tone, and then use whatever method at hand to mix it into the existing paint job. Small brushes, large brushes, dry brush, stippling, whatever, putting some, you know, more white spirits in there to make it a sort of wash. Yeah, everything, if it works. If it's stupid but it works, it isn't stupid. That's kind of a thing to say, right? Then finally, as a last feature, I tried to see if I can make a simple OSL effect radiating from the plasma gun. It turns out to be a really stupid idea. Or perhaps not really stupid, but you know, I wipe off way too little paint and it looks more like a spray can exploded right in the face of this poor gunner. And at this stage I'm kind of panicking. There's barely enough time to paint the rims black, let alone to fix a massive paint explosion in someone's face. Well, he's pretty much a space zombie. I think he can handle a bit of paint in his face. And speaking of that, let's head over to myself for some lore. Lore, yes, lore. Well, there's not that much to say, you know, actually. This guy, Johnny Rotten, he had a brief career in a moderately successful boy band. They were not really bad, they were just overshadowed by their contemporaries. But I was obviously way before this whole Nurgle thing. Nowadays they're just, you know, evil. Doing whatever evil people do, you know. Just, I suppose that's the same in you know, a couple of thousand years, you know. You just walk around, you know, you burn stuff and you kill people and cute animals. These guys always kill all the cute animals if they get the chance. They're very evil. They even have a daily stand-up where they talk about how they plan to be evil throughout the day. That's how evil they are. Nurgle. How do you turn Nurgle? I know that if you have learned it in another, you know, conversion video, that if you travel this warp thing, you turn into one of these bird people. But do you know, like, please, Mr. Nurgle, is that even the name of the god, or is it more like the name of the religion? Please, Mr. Nurgleness, can you please turn me into one of these rotten guys that walk around, half living kind of zombie guys? Why would anyone want to do that? Yeah, I think that's pretty much as much lore as we get here. I think we should just move on with some glamour shots, actually. This might not be the greatest paint job I've ever done, and I mean, I was cheating a bit. I mean, I took already built marines, I fixed them up a bit, and I mean, I did it pretty much in 3 days, you know. Like one evening I fixed them up, one evening I primed them, and one evening I painted them. And that's not out of disrespect, you know, like, oh, I can finish something in 3 days and enter it into a sort of painting competition. No, it's just, I'm not expecting to win anything here. I just enjoy doing this challenge. You see, in the beginning of the summer, I lost all kind of interest in all this little nerdy stuff, and yeah, I got caught up in, you know, real life, and that can happen to anyone. And it's, you know, it's fine being stuck in your little imaginary world, and just don't forget that there is a real life as well, you know. If you had a lot of money saved for all these dwarves that never showed up, you know, like, I hope you spend it all on, you know, taking your wife to dinner, or your kids to Legoland, or, you know, something other. Donate it to the Ukrainian army. I did donate to, I regularly donate money actually to the Ukrainian army, but something like that, you know, like something that actually matters in real life. But yeah, this was a really nice challenge because I did get my little interest back in these little fellows. You can combine, you know, real life and imaginary worlds. As long as you enjoy it, that's the important thing. Don't forget to enjoy your hobby. Oh, and if someone tells you that you cannot dry brush with oil colors, please ask them if they've actually tried it.